Picture this. No shoes, no water bottle, no sunscreen, just bare feet, bare skin, and an animal running for its life a few hundred feet ahead of you. Now here's the part that's going to mess with your head. The animal is faster than you, way faster. It could outrun a car for the first few seconds, and yet hours later that same animal is lying on the ground, completely wiped out, and the human is still standing, still walking toward it, barefoot the whole time. That's not a myth. That's not a movie. That is one of the strangest, most brutal, most brilliant survival tricks our ancestors ever pulled off, and today we're diving into it. How ancient humans ran on nothing but bare feet for hours over brutal terrain and actually won against animals built to outrun them. Stay till the end, because the last part of this story is going to completely change how you think about your own 2 feet. Let's set the scene. You're an early human. Tens of thousands of years ago. You're hungry. Your whole group is hungry. There's no grocery store, no bow and arrow yet in some cases, barely any real weapons at all, just sticks. Maybe a sharpened rock. So how do you kill something like an antelope, which can hit speeds that would get it a speeding ticket on a highway? You don't outsprint it, you outlast it. Here's where it gets wild. Our bodies are almost embarrassingly bad at short bursts of speed compared to most animals. A deer, a horse, an antelope, they'll leave you in the dust in the first 10 seconds. Easy. But something strange happens after that. Those same animals start slowing down. Not because they're bored, because they're overheating. See, 4-legged animals cool themselves mostly by panting, and panting works great when you're standing still or trotting, but once an animal breaks into a full sprint, its body can't pant and gallop at the same time. Its breathing gets locked into the rhythm of its stride. So the faster it runs, the worse it gets at cooling itself down. It's basically sprinting with the air conditioning turned off. Humans, on the other hand, sweat all over our bodies through skin that isn't covered in thick fur, and we can breathe however we want while running, completely separate from our stride. So while the animal is overheating and slowing down, the human just keeps going. Not fast, not flashy, just steady, mile after mile after mile. This is called persistence hunting, and it is exactly what it sounds like, hunting through pure, stubborn persistence. Imagine the scene. A group of hunters spots a herd. One of them takes off after a single animal, not sprinting, just pushing it to keep moving. The animal bolts, puts real distance between them, and looks completely safe. But the hunter doesn't stop. He just keeps walking, jogging, tracking footprints in the dirt, reading bent grass and broken twigs like a map only he can see. The animal, meanwhile, is panicking every time it sees the human again. Every time it thinks it's safe and starts to rest, there he is again, closing the gap over and over, hour after hour. No water breaks in the way we take them. No shoes cushioning every step on rocks, thorns, and burning hot sand. Just raw feet against raw earth. And here's the detail that should stop you in your tracks. Researchers have actually gone out into places like the Kalahari Desert and watched modern hunter-gatherer groups do this exact thing in real time, using nothing but bare feet and pure endurance. It's not a story passed down through legend. People have documented it happening in the last 100 years alone, in multiple corners of the world. Hunters chasing deer through what's now Texas and northern Mexico. Hunters running down stags in the freezing woods of old Newfoundland. Hunters pushing antelope through the scorching heat of Chad in the middle of the day. Hunters chasing wild goats across the islands of Hawaii. Different continents, different animals, same brutal, beautiful strategy. Now here's a number that might blow your mind. When researchers surveyed dozens of hunting societies across Western North America, the vast majority of them, something like 8 out of every 10, had some version of this chase them until they drop hunting method somewhere in their history. This wasn't some rare 1-in-a-million trick a single tribe stumbled on. This was one of humanity's go-to survival moves, used again and again all over the map. And think about what that actually required physically. No shoes. That means every single stride landed directly on rock, sand, thorns, cracked earth, sun-baked dirt that could burn skin in seconds. Our ancestors' feet had to be tough enough and smart enough to handle that terrain stride after stride for what could stretch into 2, 3, even more hours of non-stop movement. And they weren't just walking, they were tracking, reading the ground like a language, following faint signs an untrained eye would completely miss, all while their legs were burning and their lungs were working overtime in blazing heat. Here's where the story gets personal, because your body is still built for this, right now, today. Your feet aren't just meat sacks stuffed at the end of your legs. They're spring-loaded machines. There's a natural arch running through the middle of your foot that compresses slightly with every step and then springs back, literally storing and releasing energy like a coiled spring, saving your body effort with every single stride. Your Achilles tendon does the same thing, stretching and snapping back like elastic. None of that is an accident. That's millions of years of fine-tuning for exactly this kind of long, grinding, barefoot movement. And scientists studying runners today have found something that should genuinely surprise you. When people who are used to running without shoes hit the ground, their feet strike differently than people who grew up in cushioned sneakers their whole lives. Barefoot runners tend to land more toward the middle or front of the foot, absorbing the impact through that natural spring system instead of slamming a heel straight down into the ground. It's like their bodies never forgot the original design manual. Now flip that around and think about modern life for a second. Most of us wear shoes with thick padded heels from the moment we can walk. We drive instead of walk. We take elevators instead of stairs. If you put the average modern person barefoot on hot sand right now and told them to jog for 3 hours straight while tracking an animal by its footprints, it would be a disaster within the first 10 minutes. And yet, that same body, your body, still has the exact same bones, the exact same spring-loaded arches, the exact same sweat glands built for this. The hardware never left. We just stopped using the software. There's actually a modern example that echoes this ancient skill almost perfectly. In parts of northern Mexico, there are runners who are famous for covering ridiculous distances, well over 100 miles at a time, often in nothing but thin sandals, moving at a pace that would make trained marathoners question their life choices. When people study them, the pattern looks eerily familiar. Strong, tough feet, an easy, relaxed stride, and a body that seems to shrug off distances that would break most people. It's basically a living echo of what persistence hunters were doing tens of thousands of years earlier, minus the antelope at the end of it.